doing that.
Right, or just the accessibility of information, if you can find non-bullshit information. But
Yeah.
Right.
We all learned how to do cool things with numbers in the pager era. I mean, me and my friends had an extensive code. I could tell you to bring beer and how much beer and where we were meeting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it'll just be in numbers. We just had numbers and spaces. 911 meant, emergency. Yeah.
Yeah, but just like, there's maybe 30, 40 pictures of my childhood. My grandkids, there's 30, 40,000, and they're only 4.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Pictures of them than I had of me.
I have more pictures of my pets on my phone than I have of anything else, including the grandkids.
A lot of pets. Of course, the newest edition doesn't shed, so that's kind of cool.
Got an iguana?
No, it's a miniature Aussie Doodle.
I remember our first pug. Supposedly it was my birthday present from the wife, and she got it because they didn't need grooming and didn't shed. Well, half of that a third of that statement is true.
Right.
Dora didn't give a shit whether I lived or died. She was the wife's dog, and every third day she generated enough hair to make another pug.
Right.
But she never did need grooming.
No, I'll have to take her and get her hair cut and groomed or whatever. It'll keep growing, but it doesn't really matter if she sheds or not. I mean, the cats do. The other dog does.
Hello, Carrie. How have you been?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing okay. I'm just again coming off of a 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift, and then I got home, told myself I was going to be productive, fell asleep almost instantly. So things are good.
Well, I mean, that's a brutal shift. I don't blame you.
Getting up at 4 a.m. is just not my jam, especially because I'm a night owl by nature. So trying to go to bed at like 8
right
is really tough.
Yeah, I used to be that way, and then I don't know, along about 46, 47, it's just all of a sudden I was like, okay, 10 o'clock, yeah, I'll go to bed.
Right on.
I love a good nap in the afternoon. If I try to really get an hour or two in every day.
I was gonna say, like, a nap, yes, but like 3.5 hours stops being. I don't know if that's still a nap.
Right.
Or you just went to bed.
Well, I mean, it doesn't qualify as a long rest.
True.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where I would go with it. I mean, technically, all it was an extended short rest. You're fine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I probably got a few of my spell slots back.
Sure. Yeah, you could do some hit dice.
Yeah.
Some negative effects would go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never cast moving dishes. I could try that.
Oh, I wish that was a thing. Speaking of which, my coworkers are playing a D&D. Well, are playing D&D together, and they're trying to get a group off the ground. But there's like 18 people who want to play.
Oh, jeez.
3 of us who've played before.
Ooh.
So it looks like they're trying to get 3 of those 18 to DM and sort of have everybody doing basically the same thing at the same time, so that if you miss your normal session, because everybody's got different work schedules. So one week you could do Thursday, and the next week you could do Wednesday, and etc.
I wrote a dungeon adventure. We did it at a con, and it's actually written for 3 tables to go simultaneously with 3 DMs. I can try to figure out where the fuck I put that. It was on a different computer and stuff, but I actually have an adventure, written with own custom monsters and with their own skill sets. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some traps will send you to another table.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, and well, it's all set up on triggers. We had loops built into the adventure, so if like party A is going really fast, it'd be like, okay, well, you get stuck in a loop. And then, when party B and C finally catch up, we all had signals that we could send to each other. And then, one of us would stand up and give some spiel. It was an 8-hour adventure in the local game store, and we had 3 tables going. Each had 8 players.
Wow.
And it was pretty fun. I was trying to get them to do PvP, so at the end we put them all 3 tables in one big battle royal thing going on, and they were fighting squads of these necrotic knights. Yeah, and so in the end, there were the races. There were the dwarven table, the elven table, and the human table. And in the end, one of them had to sit on this throne, and the throne would save that race from a contagion that was just like fucking everybody up. It was kind of like zombifying everybody. And yeah. And so, hell, I even need an inside person fucking cast fireball on another party trying to kick off the big PvP because there could only be one. And they didn't do it. They were like, no, we think we could just all stick together, guys, and come up with a solution. And I was like, oh, man. And we just played like 10 hours, and I'm like, well, y'all have failed.
You all tanked my adventure. Yeah,
you have all failed, and there is no hope, and your descendants all die a horrible death. Yeah, but it was really fun, and I also did an alternate editing, to that, but yeah, it was pretty fun. But I'll see if I can dig that up, because it's all written. And,
cool.
and it's got crap to recite and all this other stuff, but I can't guarantee. I can ask one of my co-DMs might have it.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely digging around. Like, I am really trying not to DM, even though
I think you'd be really good at it
a few times. I just don't have the attention span to track what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Well,
I can barely do it.
Here, I'll tell you a little secret. Don't.
But like,
don't track them.
I don't even know if I could remember where we left off the week before.
Oh, that can be a hard time. But yeah,
I only DM one shots.
Yeah, that was the thing is if they decide, because of the size of the groups and inconsistency of the schedule, that one shots would be better, then I might get involved. Yeah, absolutely. But
I was going to say, one of the things with a group that big, and if you're going to split it up and everybody doing the same thing, you might go onto DM's Guild and look up Adventurers Guild Adventures, because they're kind of designed to do exactly that.
Right.
You can have multiple tables, all essentially doing the same thing, and a lot of those are even set up so that you can have multiple tables tackling the same problem from a different angle.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, yeah, we'll see. So anyway.
I think I've DM'd a one-shot for Chris before.
Yes, you have. That was the one and only 5th edition game I've ever played in that I wasn't a DM.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm a forever DM, so.
I generally DM a lot. That's why I've really been enjoying this, is because I don't have to do all the DM crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of all the DM crap, welcome to Traveler, the Pirates of Drinax. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. These guys are currently on Tech World, kind of brokering a deal. They were air quotes, invited to Tech World in a very dubious manner. That was kind of threatening, partially threatening. Anyways, we'll be picking up where we left off from that. Before we get started, we'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are partnerships or sponsorships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. If you're watching on Twitch, if you scroll down, you should see some tiles there. If you don't see the tiles, click on my profile image and they should pop up for you. Tonight, we would like to thank the Speechless Bard. Speechless Bard makes leather gaming products for your tabletop games, such as leather dice trays. She's got a dice rolling mat that when you roll it up, it looks like a spell scroll. She has leather covers for your core rule books. All manner of really neat items. And all of her items are handmade, and they are customizable. She does all of the work by hand. She's an amazingly talented artist. If you're going to order from her and you are here in the United States, or even in Canada, you will want to give yourself a little bit of extra time, especially if that's for a gift, because she is over in the UK. And, of course, with our shipping crisis that is still plodding along, it can take a little bit of time to cross the pond. If you are a fan of our Traveler game, we do have a website for the Pirates of Drinax. If you click on that link, it'll take you to that site via Obsidian Portal. The adventure log on that site is written in the manner of news service articles and deals with pretty much everything going on in the entire Trojan Reach, but these guys are starting to get a little bit notorious, and so they're going to be taking more and more of a center stage. If you like the page, please go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see the fan likes. We hope you enjoy. So, so where we left off, you had met with the Science Council. And the Science Council basically explained themselves of why you received the black disc that had all of basically profiles on each and every one of you. Going back to, I mean, they've got your pediatrician checkups from when you were in high school. They know way too much. Arrest warrants, your military careers, everything about you, your credit rating. They told you that this information, essentially, they got this information from General Development Corporation. General Development Corporation kind of more or less owns and secretly runs Tech World. And I say secretly because the reality is that Tech World is supposed to be an independent colony run by these scientists. It's a scientific playground where there are no limits. And that's all fine and good, and Jadeco's happy to allow that to happen as long as the scientists continue to produce something of worth. These three scientists that you met, Dr. Gerald Hodal, Dr. Jali Astor, and Dr. Rex Dark, they form a ruling council, and they don't really like being under the yoke of Jadeco. And so what they proposed was that they would be really happy to join the Kingdom of Drinax as long as a couple of things, were hammered out, such as that they would get regular shipments of basic components and raw materials, biochemicals, radioactive things of that nature. They would need at least 4 system defense boats of at least 300 tons each, but you guys talked them down and said, hey, we have a pirate fleet, and they can come and they can patrol. They wanted protection
for a nominal fee.
Right? Yeah, you have an idea on that. They have they want protection against any reprisals from General Development, and you can pretty much guarantee there will be some kind of reprisals. And they want a contract that ensures that Tech World would continue to be their scientific playground. They don't want any limits put in place on what they can and cannot study. Stem cell research will be at the top of their list, I'm sure. So you guys basically hammered out this legal contract, and they decided that they were going to go discuss it, and they knew that in the meantime that you needed someplace to stay that was safe, and so they put you up into their private housing, which is completely luxurious. There are no doors or windows. You can just touch the wall and a door appears, or you can touch the wall and say, I need a window, and a window appears so you can see outside. And the room reconfigured so that it is a big suite, and there are 6 bedrooms off of this suite, and they are rather fantastic. And so you guys kind of kick your feet up and have a couple of drinks and some good food, and you drift off to sleep that night, feeling rather secure. Now, everybody can make a recon plus intellect check.
I got a 10.
Okay. Ooh. Is Cameron playing Keith's role again tonight?
Correct. So I got a 8.
So Devin's got like a headache, and he took something, and if it fixes it, he'll hop back in, and if not, I'm playing for him.
All right.
So.
Sounds good. No, I totally understand. So anybody who got 8 or better, you notice that the room that you're in, in addition to being quite luxurious and having all these strange nanotechnological abilities, is utterly soundproof. Like, you touch the wall and you have a window appear, and you're looking out over the streets of Tech World, and an air raft goes by. You hear nothing. And I mean, it goes by your window, and it's maybe a good 8-10 feet away. And, I'm sorry, 2 to 2.5 meters away. And you hear nothing. So it is completely unlike your experience in all the Advantage hotels you've ever been in, where you can hear what's going on in the next room almost as if you were there. But this is a completely soundproof room. And so you guys kind of bed down. You've got your own private screens for watching vids, and you drift off to sleep. You are woken up. Dr. Hodal lets himself into your room and wakes all of you. And he says, there's been a terrible accident. Please, we need your help. Quickly, quickly. And he seems to be in a great hurry. He says, there's been an accident in one of the laboratories. Dr. Astor was working with dangerous nanotech from her home world of Newman when the containment system had failed. Dr. Astor is possessed by nanotech. And he says, then he corrects himself. He says, I don't mean possessed. Possessed is the wrong word. Not possessed. Infected. Back on Newman, the Shield Church teaches that nanotechnology is the work of demons. I, however, do not believe in such nonsense. Dr. Astor then stole a ship from the starport. They're tracking it now, but it will reach the jump limit before they can bring it down. I want you to go after her and stop her before she spreads this nanotechnological plague. Her assistant, Lemuel Venus, may know more about what's going on. Quick, hurry, you must get your gear and come with me.
Well, that's pretty serious. Let's hop to it.
Okay,
Right.
so you guys, I mean, it's not like you had a whole bunch of luggage. You grab your stuff, get dressed, and you head to the laboratory. Which, outside, the lab kind of looks like this. Yes, that worked. So, yeah, the lab is on fire, and outside you see a Angel of Mercy medic bot helping Lemuel Vinus, and he is bandaging his hand and head. And he looks up and he says, "Oh, thank God you made it! Oh my God, you got here just in time. If you're going to find out any information about where Jali went, you're going to need to go in. The purge cycle has been activated, and it's going to go off in 10 minutes. There's not enough time to wait for robots to show up and get anything out of there. You're going to have to put on hazardous suits and go in yourselves."
We, Doctor, because you know the layout, and you should come with us so that way we don't get lost.
Well, there's not really a layout. I mean, you can see through this lab has large windows on either side of the door, and it's just a big room with equipment in it, and I mean, it's just a big laboratory. And then across from this room, there is a locker with hazardous environment suits. And he's pretty adamant. I mean, not only, I mean, the room is on fire, obviously, not quite all of it engulfed in flames, but it's going to be much worse than this in 10 minutes. But he is adamant, because there was a release of nanotechnology, you need to wear the hazardous environment suits.
So the nanotechnology can't penetrate the hazardous environment suits? Is that the theory?
There's a much less likely chance of becoming infected if you're wearing the suit.
Is there an extra suit that we can put like the drives and stuff we're retrieving into?
The suits come with like a hip pack that you can put stuff in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, somebody's got to be brave. I'll do it.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll go with you.
What does a nanotech do to you?
He says
Strength, intelligence, speed, faster, stronger, tall buildings, single bound. Not that we would want to get infected.
So.
Right, but I mean,
He says it's hard to tell what the effects are on each individual person. It could be completely random. Dr. Jali was a genius, but she was trying to develop a cure for control for the nanotech swarms on Newman. Many scientists tried to find such a cure in the past before the Shield Church put an end to such dangerous experiments.
Well, wouldn't the science thing to do would be really to observe and see how these nano things kind of kick off when they go to wherever they're going?
He says there will be information on that in the lab, but we have to get in there and get it. But I'm injured, and it's not going to be enough time for the robots to show up. And you can see through the window in the lab. There's a screen that you can clearly see, and it says like purge cycle in 9 minutes.
Yeah, I guess I'll go too because I know computers shit if it's needed. I will bravely go. I will grab the Sir Robin hazmat suit and start putting it on.
So we got
Rexar.
2. Anybody else going to go in there?
I'll go.
Rexar will go because his ability to hack computers is unparalleled.
Oh, that's great.
I'm going to keep watch because I already have one mind control thing happening. So I don't think I need another entity in my brain.
Right.
It might balance out.
So.
Okay.
Could give you avatar powers.
So everybody that's going into the lab, everybody needs to make a investigate plus intellect check. It's average roll.
1, 2. Oh, 1. Is this a check based on sight?
A little,
Can I
yeah,
smell?
yeah, a little bit of everything. If you have enhanced senses, I will allow that to apply.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That
Your
puts
I
me
think the
neighborhood
building is
rules
burning.
lawyer here. Yeah. That is,
Rexar got 10.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think it's burning.
that's my special skill. Is I'm a
I
rules
got a
lawyer. 12.
6. I did terribly. Got a 6.
Okay.
Looks like Keith tied with me, or I tied with Keith because he went first.
So, let's see here.
No, Keith's staying outside with Chingxi. My character went in and rolled a 6, though. I did bad. So.
Okay, what about Ox? You got a 5?
I think it's burning, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
It seems hot.
It's warm in here, but it could just be the.
Ting got a 12. So Captain Beth, you go in and you can see on the wall that the words Shield Church have been scratched into the wall, and you immediately notice that these weren't scratched into the wall with a knife or a tool of any kind. It looks like somebody scratched them into the wall with their bare fingertips. So,
You're dedicated.
clearly she's become very strong and quite tough. Rexar, what'd you get?
Rexar got a 10.
Alexa, shut up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. So, I'm sorry, what did you get?
10.
You got a 10. So, you recover partial security camera footage of the lab accident. Dr. Astor deactivated the lab's link to the rest of TechWorld's security grid, so this is the only visual record of the accident. The video shows Jali Astor working with a large machine that anyone else that has science like Beth would know that this is this is a nanotech containment crucible. She inserts a sample of dangerous swarm nanotech from her homeworld of Newman, and then inserts a second sample of some custom design nanotech. The two samples mix, and 1,000 generations of tiny robots crossbreed inside the crucible. Then alarms flash, and the crucible containment fails. The front of the crucible melts away as the nanotech eats through it. Jolly's protective encounter suit also fails to protect her, but instead of pulling her apart molecule by molecule, the nanotech infects her. She staggers to her feet, then moves incredibly quickly towards the door. You all catch a glimpse of her eyes glowing red for an instant. Ting, let's see here. You discover the audio in the recording is mostly sounds of explosions and screaming. But just before the accident, you hear Jali Astor whisper the words, "Immortal Protector," under her breath. And then we come to Ox. Ox, you are poking around trying to, hey, what's in this petri dish? And part of your part of your hazard environment suit, the finger on the glove, melts away, and you get infected with nanotech.
Right.
The result of this is that your dex is permanently lowered by 1, but
that's not good.
Your endurance is permanently increased by 1.
Dex down.
Endurance up.
Endurance up. 9. Endurance goes up to a 6. Probably not a great trade, but.
Yeah, what's your dex now?
9. Went from 10 to 9. Endurance went from 5 to 6.
Well, that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. The endurance going up helps.
Yeah, and you didn't lose your DM for the dex, so I don't know. I think you got a good trade-off.
Yeah. As
So
long as the nanotech plays nice, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean that at this point, that is the most that the nanotech can do at this point. The bulk of it seems to have infected Jali Astor. At this point, you all kind of get out of there and shut the door just in time to see the room kind of suddenly become engulfed in jetting gouts of fire, like white hot fire, and then literally that side of the building collapses and reforms itself as if there was nothing ever there. The only sign that this laboratory ever existed would be in Tech World's server archives.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty adamant about their purge cycle. I'm sure that the CDC wishes theirs was that good. So,
we need to undergo an extensive decontamination.
Yes.
Protocol before we get out of these suits.
Yes, they have a decon section set up, and you are deconned, and you get out of your suits. Dr. Hodal basically puts it. He's not going to mince words. He says he wants you guys to go after Dr. Astor. I mean, it is imperative for a couple of reasons. The first being that he feels some sense of personal responsibility being a scientist, that he doesn't want this nanotech plague to be released anywhere else, and she is now a prime carrier. And he says, number two, the nanotech that she was playing with was stolen. So it's illegal for her to have it because it was stolen from Newman. And he doesn't really want that getting out. That's got some bad PR connotations. And he says, if you do this, then the contract and anything that you're asking for will be agreed to and signed.
We need some EMP missiles delivered to our Harrier. I mean, if we're trying to take out nanotechnologies, I'd really like to just go ahead and shut all electronics down for great big parts of areas with missiles. And I believe we have a missile launcher on the ship there.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't know if such a thing actually exists. Let me double check. I've never actually, other than nukes, I don't think anybody's ever questioned or wanted to use different types of missiles.
Yes. And well, I'm really a non-violent person.
Yeah, usually they're all it's all or nothing. Let's see here. They don't really have such a thing.
Oh.
They don't have EMP missiles, but oh, what is this? This is a highly. No, that's useless. But he says if you would like, yeah, they don't have anything like that. He can supply you with some EMP grenades, but he does say that he recommends that you take Lemuel Vinus, Dr. Astor's assistant, with you, and because he knows Jali in and out, and he knows he kind of knows a bit about what it was that she was working on, and so he would be obviously useful to whatever it is that, or to give you guys any kind of information that you might need.
Yeah, let's take him.
And so,
wait. Before, if we are going to get in our ship to follow, is there a way we can contain Ox?
Hey.
Well, I'm just saying that. I mean, your endurance might be up, but I do not want you touching the ship. if you have nanotech pouring through your veins, because the first button you push, and all of a sudden the ship's gonna change its mind about helping us out.
So, Lemuel tells you that Ox shouldn't pose any risk. The nanotech has done what it was designed to do and is now inert in his system.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna infect him either. The suit was gonna help him right until it melted off, and then he got infected.
Well,
He might have to consent to a probe.
I mean, who sticks their finger in a petri dish?
Hey, the voices tell me that they're fine and they're friendly.
Exactly. I want him in a glass chamber like Loki on the carrier. That's just my own personal preference. That's my advice to the captain. It can be taken or left. But I'm
sorry, we're gonna have to put this dog down.
No,
he's like Old Yeller.
Just in a glass encased house.
I'm gonna duct tape a garbage bag around, like when you need to take a shower when you have a cast. That should keep it.
Well, I mean,
he's got a big cone on his head.
Like, how much money does your family have?
No.
Who's?
Ox, didn't he get infected? I mean, maybe we could send him home, and they could give us a lot of money. And he would infect all those people.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't try to serve you tea and crumpets first.
No.
Well,
that's just out. No tea, no crumpets.
Well, we will quarantine him in the ship. Like, we'll have him in his spot and then monitor him. And if we need to, cut off a finger and jettison it into space and replace it with, a cybernetic one or something.
Something resembling a finger?
Yeah.
I just think that the now infected walking it's contain the plague. Great, let's put him on a ship and just send him out into space.
It's all fun and games until the Vargar turns into a Borg.
Exactly.
Okay,
I've said my piece. Captain can decide what to do. I'll go with it. I just needed to put my concern out there.
Yeah.
Don't want to assimilate anybody.
If it's inert and in his system, then theoretically, I mean, couldn't you just give him a blood transfusion and switch out the blood and remove the inert stuff? I mean,
you could do that. Like I said, it went in and it essentially jacked up his autonomic system and kind of, but at the same time that was at the detriment to his dexterity. So it did the work and now it's done.
I know. Inert is not the same as dead. So
well, he might have
inert can wake up again. Inert can reactivate.
So if he's been exposed and then he survived and didn't turn into a psycho, he also might have some kind of antibodies or something useful.
Okay. I feel
yeah.
Well, I mean,
as first mate, it would be
you guys have a med bay.
It turned me into a newt.
It got better.
Okay, we're keeping you in the med bay. That's what's happening.
Yeah, you can put him in med bay, and while you're in jump space, Beth can, do a full examination on him.
Maybe a cloning, and just switch the brains.
Yeah, keep Ting away from me.
Right? Yeah. So, you guys, I assume that you're going to board up the Caprice and put Ox in med bay quarantine, and you were told by Tech World Port Authority that Dr. Jali Astor stole a Far Trader class vessel named what's the name of that? Lord Gerald's Fancy. And the last known flight plan that Lord Gerald's Fancy had registered was to jump to the Exy system.
Is there a Lord so-and-so here on Tech World? then? That
No,
longer has...
this was just a far trader. That was just its name.
Oh, okay. Well, just random nobles lounging about will always strike my interest.
So Qing Shi being the pilot, and actually let me get you guys on your ship. Qing Shi being the pilot, go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
15.
Very nice. So the last note, like I said, their flight plan was for the XE system, and actually that was dumb of me. Why did I do that?
Does this doctor have any skills in piloting a ship?
He's not the dexterous type. Give me just a second. I will give you a description.
I'm just wondering if he can, change the knows enough to pilot his own course, or is he, stuck just doing what was already on it?
So we're down here. There is Tech World here. Here is XE. That is the last known coordinates. Now, you know that a Far Trader class vessel only has J2. So if Lemuel tells you that, so to describe Lemuel is that he has the dexterity of a whale calf that's been mutated and mixed with a giraffe. And he has a mop of bright red, copper red hair that is absolutely unruly. And, I'm sorry, he has the grace of a beached whale crossed with a giraffe, is the way they describe him. But he is full of information, and as you guys are trying to decide, make this decision about where to astrogate to, he feels that that because Dr. Jali Astor was trying to cure the situation of the nanotech swarms that have overtaken much of Newman, he feels fairly confident that that is where she will go. So XE would be the next logical step, and probably from there she's going to jump to Corden.
I mean, in theory, before she could have made any kind of jump, right, she would have had to have gone outside the gravity well and all that. I mean, is there any kind of chance that we could beat her to the jump? No? I mean, we've got a nice thrust.
No, she had quite a bit of a head start, but you can catch up with her at XE.
All right.
Because at XE, she's either going to have to... So you... And these guys have already been to XE. So XE is the most boring outpost anywhere. It is a small general development corporation refueling outpost with a handful of technicians on it. They have nothing to do except to, mine hydrogen from the gas giant, and most of that is automated. So these guys are very, very bored. And that's all that's in the system. There's just a gas giant and a refueling station. It's literally there. It's a gas station in the middle of nowhere is all it is. So she's either going to have to dock with the station, or she's going to have to wilderness refuel at the gas giant. So so Qing-Shi, do you want to make an astrogation plus intellect or education check for XE?
Captain?
She said,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my camera's just off for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. That's gonna be 12.
Okay. And then, after, so it doesn't take you very long. Like you can get to the 100 jump, 100, or I'm sorry, 90 diameter jump limit because the Harrier has early jump. You can get there fairly quickly because there's nothing else in the Tech World system. So it doesn't take you maybe 40 hours and you make it to the jump limit. You've already got a plot set, so Keith can make a jump drive plus intellect or education check. Yes. She said she's still here, but I don't know.
I'm sorry. Jeez. I grabbed something out of the other room.
Oh, no worries.
So did we spot the ship or not?
So engineering. So Keith needs to make a engineering J drive plus intellect or education check.
Okay.
And he's got a +3 to that check.
13.
Okay. Well, no problem then. So, you guys have a week in jump space. And Lemuel, during this week, well, the first thing is that Beth probably wants to do a full exam on Ox. So Beth can make a medic plus intellect or education check and give him a once-over and tell him whether or not he's got prostate cancer, the whole 9 yards.
I got 11.
Okay. So your full examination shows that really Ox is in really good health. In fact, he appears healthier now than the last time you had to do anything with him. Although I doubt you've given him a full exam. That's not really... If you want to join our crew, you're going to have a full examination. Okay, so Ting, you can go ahead and make a science robotics plus intellect or education check. Okay, so you are on the path towards, and you're not going to be, there's a lot of broken parts. I mean, obviously,
Sure,
you smashed it.
understand.
But
Yeah.
you're well on your way to the possibility of being able to build or build something akin to what it was in the future. And it's going to take you a while.
Sure. I will keep working on it.
And as you're in jump space, or yeah, as you're in jump space for a week, Lemuel tells you a little bit more about what he knows, and he says that he describes Jali as a genius, one of the bravest scientists I've ever known. The Shield Church of Newman banned certain fields of research, so Dr. Jali had to fight and work underground to study nanotechnology. She was fiercely determined to save her planet from machine plagues. She was passionate, but never violent or irrational. I suspect that the nanotech infection has affected her thought processes. She was trying to develop a cure to control the nanotech storms. Many scientists tried to find such a cure in the past, before the Shield Church put an end to such dangerous experiments. Jali believed the swarms were essentially malfunctioning programs and could be controlled given the right inputs. She was working with nanotech stolen from the Shield Church, and she knows it connects to the autonomic nervous system. If she feels threatened, she may become extremely dangerous. He requests that if you can at all if it is at all possible, to refrain from using lethal force on her. He says, she's not herself. I believe that you can convince her to listen to reason and that provoking her will trigger a hostile response. So he tells you a little bit about this nanotech, and he says that it affected her autonomic nervous system to the point where her nervous system is now as smart as her conscious mind. So essentially, her higher brain functions only kick in when her adrenaline wears off. So as an example, if you put your hand on a hot electric grill, you would jerk your hand away instinctively. If Jali Astor does it, then she jerks her hand away, tracks the power supply for the grill, then precisely smashes the weakest point in the wall to sever the power and shut down the grill. Or maybe she jerks her hand away, kills everyone in the house, and then burns it down. She won't know until she calms down and gets her faculties back. But he goes on and he says the world of Newman was a Soleimani colony. The planet was a shining jewel of technological advancement to rival the Darian civilization until a disaster released the gray goo hegemonizing swarm. The ruling AIs committed suicide, unable to find a solution for the plague. All hope seemed lost until the arrival of the Shield Church. The Shield Church now rules Newman. The priests of the church have their own nanotech swarms that can break down and block hostile swarms. The church rules every aspect of life on the planet and bans certain scientific research that might bring back the dark days. The head of the Shield Church is known as the Immortal Protector. The mysterious Immortal Protector is the master of the church. He's reborn every generation. He's rarely seen in public and always wears his ceremonial mask and armor. The Immortal Protector's will guides the people of Newman, and it is his holy church that shields them against the swarms. And he has, more information on the story of the Immortal Protector, which essentially is that the nanos were taking over the world. The AIs couldn't figure out how to make them stop. And one of the people killed, of the billions and billions, was this girl named Nuia. And the last thing that she called out for before she died was the name of her lover. And after she died, the Immortal Protector came down in a ship made of silver fire, and he was a wanderer and a hero. Some say he was the last emperor of the first Imperium, exiled from his throne by the Soleimani upstarts. Others say he was a half-human and half-ancient, that his mother was an archaeologist who found an ancient tomb on a deserted dead world. But whoever he was a man without peer. He stood 8 feet tall and wielded an FGMP in each hand. He burned back the swarms with the fury of his fusion guns and fought his way to the last laboratory, where he found the slumbering swarms and was able, because he was a scholar as much as he was a warrior, he commanded the swarms to block the building machines from encroaching any further onto Newman. And he is now immortalized. He's called the Immortal Protector because he's reborn every generation. And that's what the people on Newman believe.
I don't buy
it. Lemuel says, I don't buy it either, but it's really hard to give up the myths of your childhood. Lemuel, like most of the people that the scientists that you've met, they come from a science background, and so naturally he doesn't really believe most of this garbage, but he, like he said, it's hard, whether you believe it or not, it's hard to give up on some of the myths. But yeah, he tells you the little bits and pieces of this story over the week that you're in nanospace. So Beth, are you going to release during this week, are you going to release Ox from quarantine?
Yeah, can the ship's computer or the medbay identify any unique stuff about his blood? Is it like him overcoming the nanobots that made him better, or is it him coexisting with them?
They say they're friendly.
According to what the ship's the medbay scanners are showing you, is that it looks like part of his autonomic nervous system was broken down, and the nanobots reformed that material to build up his lung capacity and muscle structure. And you can see in your I was going to call it an X-ray, but I doubt that they use X-rays anymore. This is a fairly advanced medbay. Your holographic scans of him actually show that it looks like there is artificial biomaterial that's been built up in his muscle structure and lung capacity.
So there's nanobots in there.
Well, the bots did their job.
Oh, okay, but we don't detect any nanobots
No.
any longer. Just see the results.
Right, you just see the results.
So they played Legos.
It looks like he underwent augmentation. He underwent an augmentation procedure is what it looks like. It looks like grafted material and things like that.
If he is nanobot free, then I feel fine with him being on the crew. That's cool.
All right. Okay.
Okay, guys, be quiet.
So you guys come out of jump in Exy, and of course you get a automated. Well, not automated. You get a message from the Exy. I was going to call it a starport, but that's really being generous. The Exy control. And a flurry of advertisements for good prices on fuel. And you hear this guy, and he's just really bored. He's like, we see you on our sensors. Come to Exy Control for decent prices on fuel. Oop, we lost Jingxi.
He went to buy some fuel.
There she is. So
I'm here. I've heard you.
Okay. So this guy's really bored. Did you? I mean, off in the distance, you can see Exy's gas giant. Now, Exy itself, the planet itself, and calling it a planet is generous as well. I mean, their planet is like maybe the size of Mercury. It's not very big. And it has two little asteroid moons that are just little balls of storm gas that go around it. It's really it is tidally locked. It's a crap hole of a planet, which is why everything takes place on the station that's orbiting it. But off in the distance, you can go ahead and see the gas giant itself. Did you want to question Exy Control, or do you just want to scan the system?
Let's just scan.
Okay. Somebody needs to make an electronic sensors plus intellect or education check.
I believe Ting does that best.
All right. Then here we go. Do I get any special bonuses from the ship?
You get to add a +2 to your sensor scan.
I sure will do that. So this will be 5. $16.
Okay. So you detect two things. And it's really weird that I don't have that. Anyways, you detect two things. And they are, the first thing that you detect is a far trader that is in a decaying orbit around the gas giant. It is listing seems to not be under actual control. From your sensor scan, it appears that it has a full cargo hold. So this thing's heavy and weighted down, but it's listing and it is in a decaying orbit. The other thing that its transponder is pinging that it is the Vagabond Soul. And Lemuel says, "Oh, I know the Vagabond Soul. It's captained by Captain Olin Bale. He's from Newman. He used to come to Tech World every once in a while. He's a nice guy, but Jali Astor didn't really like him too much. He was a devout Shield Church member." The other ship that you detect is making a break at full burn away from the gas giant, and it is actually pinging as Lord Gerald's Fancy.
We should probably hail them and see if this is related.
Well, the Gerald Fancy, that's our target anyway. We might want to stop it from just doing whatever. But if you want me to initiate a roll of comms thing or whatever, I can do that. I want to talk to them.
Yeah, let's see if they've spotted our ship or what the deal is.
All right, hold on here.
Does the Capricin have badass comms that I get a bonus from it too?
Only if you're trying to jam communications, because it has a countermeasure suite.
That's an 8 on the comms roll to talk to the Lord.
You Lord Gerald's Fancy?
That's correct. Thank you.
There we go. So that's where they're at. They're way out there at distant range. And so Lord Gerald's Fancy, their response is a burst of static. And the next thing that you see is their drive is their jump drive is powering up. Ting, go ahead and make another electronic sensors plus intellect check.
I get the +2 because of the system.
Yep.
That's a 12.
So your sensors are telling you that a couple of things. The first thing is that it's telling you is that Lord Gerald's Fancy only has partially fueled up. The second thing that it's telling you is that there hasn't been enough time to process that fuel.
I want to go ahead and do a sensor lock on them.
Okay.
That's an 11.
You have a sensor lock on them.
Yeah, that should help whoever wants to shoot them.
Yeah, so the jump drive is powering up. It seems like she's going to try and jump with unrefined fuel.
Isn't that gonna like doom them to be stuck in, or
it increases the chance of a misjump.
I think it just gives them like a -2, if I'm not mistaken. And it makes you have to do a bunch of extra maintenance on your jump drive.
Yeah, it's going to screw up your drive for long term.
Yeah, but you can always use underground refuel, but I think it gives you like a -2 to your jump. And so
this is who we're looking for. pretty likely then.
Yes, this is this ship is what has the. He said try to save his little friend or whatever, but I mean, really, they're about to jump, and we don't necessarily know where they're going. I mean, if we could just destroy this ship real quick, I mean, the problem's solved. Sorry you lost your doctor. Shouldn't do dumb shit. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But we've annihilated the threat, and
I
now
100% agree to blow it out of the sky.
Yeah, let's do it. Engage. Make it so.
I mean, perhaps that's because I like shooting things.
I'll get to press the big red button.
But
Yeah.
you probably will get a bonus to your shooting because I have a sensor lock on it.
Right.
So, like on whatever device you're checking out, there's now a big ding.
Yeah, you get a +2.
Yeah.
You press
Maybe
a button and like the
scrolling
red.
message under it that says "This guy sucks."
So I mean, they're more than 50,000 kilometers away from you. So
We have
you're
a
probably going to
thrust
want to
of
use
6.
your missile rack. And I'm trying to see.
Can we add anything else with my naval tactics?
Well, to get from where you're at to so to get to where they are, it's going to take a thrust 50, and your maximum burn is 6. So, per round, before you're not going to catch up to her before she can jump.
We just need to get to very long distance for our particle barbette to be in range.
Right, or you can launch a missile now.
Yeah. We could do both, couldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, you can burn in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, but missiles are fun too.
Okay.
Have we tried to talk to the Vagabond Souls, see if they need any help?
Yeah, make sure they're not infected.
Well, we got the ship trying to jump right now.
Well, we can do that. We can talk to them in parallel, I would think, while we're shooting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the other ship is going to talk to us, so the communication should be pretty much open, available.
Yeah, I made a comms roll that successfully turned that shit on. I'll send it right over to your thing if you want to talk.
Sure.
Or if you want me to talk, I will. But I mean, I've talked a lot.
Okay.
I can talk.
So Qing-Shi needs to roll pilot skill +6 for the ship's thrust score.
And then what about, so do I use naval or, let's see. I guess that would be it. So piloting, but do I get to use my naval tactics?
You could, yes.
Okay. So that's 19.
Well, you don't add naval tactics. You would roll naval tactics first.
Okay. So then it would be 18. My first roll is 18 then.
8.
Because I rolled 9 plus the 6 you just mentioned, plus my 3 for piloting spacecraft.
Okay. Okay. So you didn't add your dex to that, though, right?
I did not add my dex.
Oh, 2d6. So 2d6 plus your piloting score plus the thrust of the ship.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did piloting plus 6 plus thrust. Or piloting plus thrust, yes.
Okay.
And it was 18.
Okay.
Because I rolled 9, my piloting is 3, and the thrust is 6. So 9 and 9 is 18.
Okay, so you're doing a heavy burn to catch up to Lord Gerald's fancy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that puts you there. Then the next question is... That was your maneuvering step. Rexar, are you shooting a missile?
Will the missile even make it in time?
That is a very good question. Let me look.
Ting, you're muted if you're talking.
I think we're within range from the particle barbette now, though. And it's nuclear. The particle barbette's got a 50,000 kilometer range, very long.
Yeah, you could try to make that shot.
I could make a called shot on their jump drive.
You can't make a called shot unless they are close range or adjacent.
Fuck.
Hey, take a shot. Shoot a couple times. Eventually, you'll hit the drive.
So missile combat. Let's see here. Distant. It would take 10 rounds. At this point, it would take 4 rounds to reach them.
So not in the time. So
For
the particle
a missile.
barbette is.
Yeah.
So we can't. There's no way to hit them. Is basically what we're coming up against.
There's particle barbette. Let's see how that goes.
And you got so at this. So you are at 50,000 kilometers or less. And you got a +2 to hit.
And then +3 for my turret.
Correct. Let me double check something real quick. Before you calculate that shot.
Okay.
Particle barbette. It has a range of very long. So yeah, you could. He is just in range.
Yeah. I am the party's rules lawyer. I'm just saying.
Well,
So
you at least
can I
know
roll?
weapon ranges.
Am I good to roll or?
Yeah, go for it. With a
Okay.
+2.
Yeah.
So that's 4 + 2 is 6. Then that's a total of 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll 4d for damage.
4, 10.
16,
Okay.
21.
Okay.
2 6s, a 5, and a 4.
All right.
Don't forget that juicy radioactive shit that gets sunk all in there too.
So
Thanks
what was your total?
21.
Okay. You can roll. Let me find the crit table. Here we go. Roll a d6.
4.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Roll 2d6.
What was that?
I'm sorry. Roll 2d6.
7.
So you hit hull and roll another 2d6.
11.
Ooh, that's not good. And roll another 1d.
6.
So that raises damage to 27 for the hull. And roll 1d.
Oh God. 4.
Okay. So that's a pretty solid hit. You can see shrapnel. So, Ting, you can see on your sensors shrapnel is blasted off of the Fancy. And to tell you what the other critical was, not that you would be able to tell at this range, but it was a crew hit. She took 4 damage. And then, see here. And then Rexar roll 2d.
Oh boy. 4. 5.
She takes an additional 5 damage from taking radiation. Because it did core the hull. The next thing that you see is you see Lord Gerald's Fancy flash and jump. And just leave a debris field behind her.
Man, that's really hard to. She would be really lucky to survive that jump for the whole week. I mean, there's.
Yeah, but if she's now part nanotech, she's probably getting repaired as damage is happening.
Ooh, yeah. She might be less human on the other side of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We could continue this in a week.
So at this point, you don't have the fuel to chase her. So you would have to either refuel at the station, or you can refuel at the gas giant. And there's Vagabond Soul, which is in a decaying orbit,
Right.
with a full hull.
Do they reply?
They did not.
We should blow that ship up too. It might be infected. We don't know what went on.
Well, it could be that.
You know they have a full hull or full cargo hold. So
they may have recognized the other ship and then figured out that it wasn't the real owner on board. And I would assume then that the other ship would have been attacking him somehow. But you're right; it may be infected.
Okay.
My voices say that it's fine.
I am willing to go check it out in suits while somebody else refuels the ship.
Well, I mean, if everybody's dead and we recover it, we can salvage the whole thing.
That's true.
As long as you don't come back as like cyborg robot nano monster.
That's true.
Borg, they sound Swedish.
But I'll be good because I'll just refuel. I'll be in charge of refueling at the gas giant.
So we know it has a full hull. If there's nobody alive on board, or can we scan to?
Yeah, you can scan. So you're doing a hard burn for the gas giant then?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. So. So Ting, go ahead and make an electronic sensors plus intellect check.
11.
Okay. This is what you pick up on the sensors. Now, keep in mind these sensors, the sensors on the you have the the penetration sensors now. You also have because they're advanced, you can actually pick up neural signs. So what you're picking up is that the where you see these blue dots, those are very faint neural signs. And you can see with the penetration scanner, you can see that, yes, the cargo hold is full. There are crates and various whatnots in there. And these blue signs that are moving, they are moving around. It appears that they are crew, but the life signs that you're detecting, even with the neural scanner, are very faint, almost like they're in a low berth. But you can see them moving around, and they're not where the low berth should be on this class of ship. Your guess would be that the crew has taken fast drug.
Or it's almost like they've all been possessed by nanotechnology that's interrupting their neurons.
I don't really think we should go fucking around. I think we ought to fucking nuke this ship.
I can't believe that Ting wants to give up free cargo.
You know, man, a bad job is worse than no job at all. And so, you know, I mean, picking up a cursed item is not really getting a cool magic thing. You know, it's getting like, you know.
Can our
space
nerdy
weapons, so.
friend weigh in on if these signs are consistent with something infected with nanomachines?
He doesn't know. He says, I wouldn't be able to tell you without getting a closer look at them. But I mean, if Captain Bale is on that ship, he's a good man. I would really appreciate if we could rescue him.
He was a good man
He's
until he got possessed.
Yeah.
So
Already
is our
lost.
friend willing to go look himself?
By himself.
Does a Capri Sun have any way to tow this other ship without going internal to it? Hook up a tow line or something?
Um,
I don't remember seeing one in the cargo hold, but we may have a tow bar.
So I mean, no. You could try to nudge it to a higher orbit, but you don't really have anything aboard that you could attach to tow with.
Particle barbette will tow it.
Nuclear missile off the port bow would nudge it right on out.
Send it on out in orbit.
What you do notice as you kind of do a flyby is this right here at the airlock is a loose communications umbilical. And Qingxi, you know that on this class of Far Trader, that those umbilical cables are notorious for coming unhooked when another ship docks with them. And it's just kind of floating out in space.
How many signs do you need to that this is infected? The plague is on that ship.
Well, if you like
so
nuke it, you're
Lemuel-
mistaken, then
Lemuel says, but even if Captain Bale is no longer alive, there could be information on that ship.
Right, that's completely corrupted. You are welcome to go over by yourself and do some
So
research.
he says, I if one of you will help me learn how to put on a spacesuit, I'd be happy to go over there with you, but I can't do it alone.
Well, I'm already
Then you
infected.
need
I can
to
go.
Shut your mouth.
hey, we have someone willing to go. He's fought the nanomachines and won already.
Yeah,
He's
I
fine.
really
He's
don't
already
wanna fuck with that.
infected. Send him.
I just
Go
My
with
nano is more powerful than their nano.
Feel free to like kick him towards the nanobot swarm and just like leave if anything at the first sign of trouble. It's okay.
if we vented the ship, then we could go over in vac suits, and we could probably gather information. I just think the best step to start out with is to kill anything on the ship.
I don't think vacuum would kill a nanobot. It would probably get rid of the people.
So
what about?
All right,
if
so
we-
I personally like the plan of sending Doc and Ox, Doc Ock, over while we all stay at a safe distance, and with the knowledge that Ox is going to bail at the first sign of misfortune.
Can you do some psionic shit? And
At this distance,
well, I mean, we could get adjacent or
Well,
something.
obviously, we're pretty close
going
now.
forward.
so you've
I
got a
I
couple
already
of
use
options.
kind of mind control.
So you've got a couple of options for airlocks. This, of course, right here is the main airlock. On each side, though, there are cargo airlocks. There's another one on port and one on starboard.
Just remember that the ship that you're about to go on to is under pressure. And when you open it up, it might have a violent reaction that might not be something you like if you're not tethered before you start opening things.
What
is true.
what is the range on the read surface thoughts? Because that's all we really need to confirm or deny if these are nanobot ravaged humanoids or if they're fine.
It is. Let's see here. Read.
I think she can extend the range by spending more psi points.
So yeah, it's got a reach of long.
Cool.
So I
But
mean,
what does that mean for people? I know that for ships that's a certain distance. What
Right.
does that mean for people?
so I mean, if you wanted to dock, I would say that with long range, because I mean, each one of these squares is 1.5 meters. So it's not like it's if you were to if you connected your airlocks right here, it's not that far for you to try to read surface thoughts.
I don't
Yeah,
know if we want to connect. I think we should.
I mean, I'm gonna obviously it's captain's call. I don't think that we should connect our ship to that ship.
Especially any type of electronics.
At
let's get-
long is 250 meters.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably read surface thoughts on this entire vessel. I don't even think it has that much square footage.
So let's just get close enough to do that, and then the next call should be pretty easy after that.
Okay, yeah, I do not want to dock.
Okay, you can kind of float nearby, and you would need to make a telepathy plus your psi score or your psi DM.
Okay.
And it's an average check. Or yeah, telepathy plus psi.
All right. So 7, 8. I think it's 9.
Okay. So it takes you about 30 seconds. You are reading surface thoughts. I'm trying to think of how to describe.
Right. That's what surface. Trying to figure out how to describe that they're all zombies.
The surface thoughts that you get back are like a interconnected flow, an interconnected data stream flow.
Yes.
Like you're listening to the sound of an old telephone modem connecting, doing a handshake.
So, Captain, they are not people. Let's get out of range and nuke them.
Okay, sounds good. Take
Great.
it.
Okay.
I don't trust the internet signal. The internet is not good on this ship, so we're GTFO is my personal first mate recommendation.
I agree, except for if we're seen by the planet nuking another ship, is that a good thing?
Probably
We could
not.
go by the space station after this, the refueling place, and eradicate the Judeco employees and clear
Just
all
do
the
a
things.
total murder in the entire system.
Well, I mean,
On
they're
a
kind of
rocket
our
and sick.
enemies, and if you
I
think
mean,
about
It's a small station, but they still have enough firepower to blow Capri Sun out of the sky.
Okay, let's go tell them first. Like, hey, it's filled with monsters. Would you like us to explode that, or would you like to take care of it?
So
Can go-
that's the communication you're sent. So the response is the guy. It sounds like he's trying not to laugh, and he says, "What do you mean filled with monsters?" He's like, "This is He's like, "This is a joke, right? Keep going because we haven't heard a good story in a long time."
Okay, so I'll take Ox's nanobot ravaged hand and say it's filled with nanobots, and this is what one petri dish of it can do.
My hand doesn't look bad.
make a persuasion plus charm check. I mean, if you don't care about, this is a Judecca run station. If you don't care about them finding out who you are, you can use Soch. But
okay.
Do you think I could be your hype man and start like a task chain to make this even better?
We could sort of tell them the truth that the ship that just jumped out was infected with nanobots, and we think they attacked and infected this other ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we still have to persuade them because of the way I put it.
Well, using the term monster vice nanobot probably didn't help.
we could send over
my
a
character
video.
would have used the medical word for monster. I don't know what that would be.
Frankenstein.
Probably something in Latin. Monstorum.
It's an electronic homunculus.
Yes. Excellent.
Term.
The ship floating in the decaying orbit has a nanobot plague, and it's a plague ship.
I guess we could use the term plague ship. But okay, but 8 though.
Okay, so they tell you they basically put you on hold for a minute, and then he comes back and he says that they are sending out. They already have 2 of their refueling skiffs heading that direction, anyways, and they're going to send their refueling skiffs to board and bring any survivors.
We recommend against that.
I know. So you're going to bring the infection onto your base?
He says,
"Are you trying to get red zoned?"
He says, "Look, we're not going to leave. If we can help those people, we're not going to leave them to just die, crashing into the gas giant. I mean, I can now that you've pointed out the ship, I can see that it's got an erratic orbit and that it's going to decay in like 12 hours. So we're going to hustle as fast as we can."
I'm trying to contain the infection, and they're like, "Let's drive the monkey to the airport."
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna blow it up now. So whatever. I'm sure a missile will get there before the skiff.
Oh yeah, you guys are. You can back away to like medium range and launch a missile.
Yeah, it's happening. So keep your skiffs away.
Okay. Who wants to make the shot?
Rexar's the Luke Skywalker of the crew after last time. Christ.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll press the big red button.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead and make a gunner turret, or not gunner. Yeah, gunner turret plus your dex check. +2 for fire control.
Oh. There's a 6 and then a 1, so +2 +3. That's 12 to hit.
That is a hit.
40 to hit.
Well, are you shooting the regular missile rack, or have you flipped the switch and loaded it with the nuclear missiles?
Captain, could I use a really big one?
Yes, please vaporize everything associated with this ship.
Fucking nuke it.
Okay, so that is 1d4 for damage.
That is 40.
Okay. It's going to take another missile.
Firing the one.
Such is life.
Make another shot.
That's 9.
Okay. Again, roll 1d.
60.
Okay, well that did it. There are 2 detonations, and the vagabond soul is literally, there's not even shrapnel. There's just nothing left. Immediately,
But we don't recommend anybody flying to the cloud.
an alert comes out. Yeah. Immediately, an alert comes out that the Capri Sun is listed as wanted for destruction of property and possible murdering of the crew of Vagabond Soul.
Oh well.
We should have just waited for them to board and, nuked them all.
So it's going to take these 2 fuel skimmers like 8 hours to actually get to the fuel or to the gas giant. I would assume that Qingxi wants to try and do some fuel scooping.
Can I get a target lock on one of those fuel skimmers?
Yes, you can. Make a sensors check. Sensors plus intellect or education plus 2.
That's an 8.
You have a target lock. Hold on here.
If they want to talk shit, try to flag us for violent folks. I mean, we might act violently. That was really stupid. They should have waited till we left before they started doing all that.
Okay, so Qingxi, make a piloting plus dex check.
Ooh, that's 12, 15, 17.
Okay. That is pretty good. You are able to take enough fuel for jump 1. So you are at Exie. Where would you like to jump? Because these guys have put out a notice for you in the Exie system.
Is Acrid one of our friends? Isn't that where we led the revolution?
They are, but they are 2 jumps away. You can only jump 1 parsec.
We're gonna have to skim again. We'll just shoot at the skips and say, "Stay the fuck back." And
You could do that. You could do that. I don't necessarily know that you want to get into combat during a refueling operation, though.
But do they? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question: is do they? Maybe we should say something to them, like, I could make a Star Dragon speech and see if they'll back the fuck up.
Do it. Yeah, for it.
All right, yeah.
I mean,
like,
you know that she was heading for Cordon, so if you want to risk combat during a refueling operation, you certainly could do that, and then burn hard for the 90 jump limit, because they're going to expect you to have to go to 100 jump limit, and you can jump early, and you could just after another. If you're successful with another refueling skim, you could jump or burn for the 90 jump limit. In the meantime, while you're burning, process the fuel and then jump to Cordon and continue to follow her.
We could also dive in the atmosphere of the giant.
Well, that's essentially what you're doing when you're skimming fuel.
No, I mean go down.
Like to hide.
Yeah, more levels. The different levels, layers are kind of outlawed in the Traveler's Companion.
Right.
Yeah, and so I mean, like, if you drop down, you keep dropping down level, it's harder for them to see us. Come fun around, and if they try to shoot at us, they take a -2 for every level. Psst, what the fuck ever.
That's true. And just to make things easy, I'll just use the same ship.
They just watched us annihilate that other ship. I mean, these got to be little bitty. I mean, I doubt these are like battle cruiser fueling skiffs.
No, they're not.
But yeah, she said the captain said I could do a Star Dragon speech, so I will try to talk them out of fucking with us. You know.
Okay.
This is Ting Hansen, Star Dragon Knight of Jagersil. Perhaps you've heard of us. You should stay away from us while we refuel here, or you will meet the same fate as you watched the Far Trader. We will hit you so many times before you're even able to scan our fart dust.
Go ahead and make a go ahead and make a persuade plus Soch, but you're going to be at a -4.
All right.
And now they know it's us.
Well, they already did. I mean, they flagged our ship.
This was bound to happen sooner or later. To be real
Right.
honest. I mean,
Yeah. So my social.
I'm surprised it took this long.
2, and my persuade is 2. This is an even roll. Yeah.
So you got exactly an 8.
Well, I don't know yet. No, I got a 3. So yeah, I start laughing in the middle of it. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
So these.
Sorry about that. Terrible roll. Yeah, 2 3s in a row.
These are actually 200-ton system defense boats. That they also do double duty as fuel skimmers. And they.
Oh shit! So they are like super fortified
Yeah.
fuel skimmers. That's lame. Wait, would we know that before we decided to try and intimidate them?
Not really, but they do have a. You know that.
How would they not? How would they not have a signature different than a skiff?
Well, I mean, they're a boat. I mean, they're not even jump capable.
Okay, it just seems like it. I guess I have.
They're the same. They're the same size as you guys, but because they are a boat, they have bigger weapons. They've got a triple turret with beam lasers and a triple turret with missiles.
Yeah, we were just calling them a skiff a few minutes ago. That's why, like, I was confused about what they actually are, because that doesn't seem.
Yeah,
and
we can kite them. I think those beam lasers are only going to go up to like 30,000 kilometers, and I mean we have a 50,000 kilometer range and a lot of thrust. I mean,
yeah, but they're not limited by having jump fuel and a jump drive. That could all be in maneuver drive and maneuver fuel.
Right. They have a thrust of 9.
Yeah, so they will catch us, but I mean we can really fuck some of them up before they get to us.
Or should we hide? Die?
Yeah, we could dive in the atmosphere and be very difficult to find.
And you've got a target lock on one of them, so.
Yeah, a target lock on one.
I am not sure what target lock does in this situation.
So it gives a +2 to any firing attempt.
Oh, okay.
And that's in addition to the +2 of the fire control system, so that's a total of +4. To hit.
All right. What do you guys say? Run or hide?
Well, we know we're gonna fail at running.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you've got enough fuel that you could jump one jump. Now you haven't processed the fuel, so it's going to be a -2 to your J drive roll, but you could jump to.
There's a system next to us that has a gas giant.
Right. Let me bring that map back. Where'd it go?
Yeah, I think jumping. Well, I'm a big fan of not getting shot in the first place, so I'm a pro jumper.
Argonia, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could jump to Argonia and continue on from there.
Make it so.
Okay. So Qingxi, make a astrogation plus intellect or education check.
Okay.
You could possibly try using the gas giant that we're already orbiting to slingshot us, get us some distance.
Get you a little bit more speed.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And-
got 11.
Okay.
And until they get there, we could keep it between us and them.
So that'll be a +3 to the J drive check. Did you want to do a... Qingxi's done a slingshot maneuver before. So do you want to do a slingshot maneuver? It would be piloting plus dex -2.
What do you think, Captain?
Since they can outthrust us, it seems like it's worth a shot.
Okay. Nine.
Ooh.
It's like the lowest piloting roll I think.
So you slingshot around and you're able to increase your thrust to 7.
Awesome.
I mean, they're still able to outrun you. And that puts them here.
Are we shooting at them when they get within range?
You can shoot at them right now. If that's...
Well, if we just want to leave, try and keep the planet, the gas giant, between us. If you want to fight them, then don't worry about it.
That's true. You could keep the gas giant between you and them.
Yeah, that sounded like a really, really smart idea.
Yep.
Okay. So...
Hey, if you take into account Varg years, could I be called one of 2 instead of 7 of 9?
Right.
Now that I'm, cybernetic.
Yeah. Yeah. They are going to change course. To here. They're going to catch you before you hit the 90 diameter jump limit. You could jump early. This is going to be an additional -2.
So that jump would then become.
So let's see here. It was a plus.
I got +3.
Right. So it was a +3. So it'd be -1 to the J drive roll if you jumped early.
Let's do it.
I
Keith
think
is
it's worth
pretty
it.
skilled.
Spinward marches, here we come.
So
Yeah.
Keith needs to make a J drive roll at -1. J drive plus intellect or education.
Yes. Okay, good. That's 12.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you, Jeebus.
Dead on target. And you guys are in jump for Argonia. So you get to, after a week, is there anything that you want to do during the week? I mean, you don't have any outside contact. You've got no communication, so it's not like you can check up on your current legal status.
I'm gonna have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna spend some time assimilating my comm gear and stuff.
Okay. All right.
I'll teach the nerd guy to use a vac suit.
That's a good idea.
I'm going to aggressively watch Ox because I'm still suspicious.
Okay.
I'm going to work on the robot.
Go ahead and make another. In this case, go ahead and make a electronics plus computers check, plus intellect or education, your choice.
10.
Okay, so you're spending some time soldering some parts together, and you get some of the legs to twitch and things like that. And you've got your computer plugged into it so that you are able to read its code and alter it however you would like at this stage. It's not alive in any way, but you are able to get into, quote, its brain and kind of reprogram it so that when you do put in locomotion and whatnot, it will do what you want it to do.
Oh, right on. Yeah, and I don't have to make any decisions on that at the moment, do I?
No,
I can
not
do that. Like,
it'll take you a while, but yeah, I mean, so you've got time to decide how you want to program this thing.
yeah, cool. Yeah, cool.
Actually on this jump, I'm going to spend some time talking to the nerd guy and try and convince him we're really not dangerous, murderous criminals, and learn some more about nanotech that I've been exposed to.
So the nanotech, he tells you that what he learned was that, or the way he understood Jali Astor, the way she described it, is that she had taken the nanotech gray goo from Newman, and then the Shield Church themselves have their own version of nanotech. And so the Shield Church has they have, of course, different ranks, but the soldiers of the Shield Church are called the Flame Knights. They have their own nanotech. And so when somebody signs up to become a Flame Knight, they are then infected with the Shield Church nanotech, and they are enhanced in certain ways. That was the stolen nanotech that Jali Astor had taken.
I like this church less and less.
Yes, and you thought them touching the altar boys was bad. Jeez.
Yeah.
So she was trying to mix these two together because, like he said, she was under the opinion that all of the nanotech that was causing problems on Newman, it was just programs that weren't operating properly. And so she was using the Shield Church Flame Knight nanotech to mix with the bad nanotech and trying to reprogram it so that they would all basically become inert. Obviously, something failed.
Yeah.
But that's why
I don't trust this church at all.
But he said that's why you became you gained endurance, is because that's part of what the Shield Church nanotech does. He thinks that it's likely that you didn't get any of the bad nanotech. All you got was the good stuff.
I'm a Flame Knight. All right.
Yes. So, you guys come out of Jump in Argona. You've been to Argona before. Argona is a mining colony owned by the PRQ Corporation. And most of the planet, if you remember, is covered in ice glaciers. And the starport is to land at the starport, you actually have to fly down into an ice cavern, a crevasse, and fly through an ice tunnel to go into this underground starport.
Maybe we should just hang out at the gas giant and not even let them know we're here.
That, of course, is an option.
Well, because we're going to be hunted criminals soon. More so than we have been.
Well, you guys have some friendly contact with Argona. It's not necessarily a haven, but PRQ. Well, actually, no. PRQ Corporation kind of hates your fucking guts because you guys operated as strike breakers on Acrid. So yeah, you probably don't want to go there either. So I guess Gas Giant it is.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of fueling at the Gas Giant, and then if we're either pursuing directly or hanging out in Acrid for a little while if we need.
Yeah, you've got a haven on Acrid.
Yeah, exactly. I think that hanging out, either heading to our base or a haven is a good idea, unless we want to continue pursuing our prey immediately.
You know what? If Jideko wants to say that what we were doing was overkill, then maybe they should deal with the ship flying around with the horrible nanobots in it, and that'll vindicate us. We don't do anything, and it's a big disaster.
Who's operating your comms?
Shit, probably me. Or wait, no.
Oh, is it going to be Tink?
I was.
Yeah.
Tink.
Go ahead and make a comms plus intellect or education check.
8. If the ship gives bonuses, it goes up.
So you get in, of course, the local TNS news, Travel and News Service comes in, and one of the articles videos that comes up is that there's going to be an interfaith conference held on the planet Mirage in the Gazulan subsector, and one of the attendees will be a member of the Shield Church named Archon Dreek. And this is an interfaith conference of many different faiths from all across the Trojan Reach, and mostly it's because the ruling leader of the planet Mirage is trying to pick a religion. It seems that she's getting she's getting up there in years, and the Marquis de Hob is she's discovered that anagathics and augmentations are not really, they're to the point now where they're not going to sustain her life. And so she wants some kind of spiritual guarantee that there's something after she leaves this mortal coil, but she doesn't know what religion to pick. And so there are religions, including the psychopomps of Torpal are going to be there, and Archon Dreek of the Shield Church is a major member who's going to be there. And the news conference is hoping that there may actually be an appearance by Prince Herrick of Drinax, who's basically Torpal's new space pope. And that's basically the news that comes across.
Okay, so Nanobot Lady is might be heading there.
It would be a very efficient way to spread a plague.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we make them do this over Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah, we need you guys to socially distant. God, you thought COVID was bad. Wait till you get nanobots.
Yeah.
I got the nano herps. So
we could try to approach the church with our evidence that we've collected that shit went down funky, but we might have to kill little Eeyore assistant guy here to,
Another
not have him
option.
go blabbing.
Another option is to convert her to something first, so that the conference isn't required. Everybody think of your best ideas for next week of how to avert this enormous crisis.
So when Lemuel sees that news article, he says, "I bet she's heading for Mirage. She always said that things would probably go better if she could get Archon level nanotechnology." So Archon level being one level above the Flame Knights.
How far away is Mirage from here?
Let me pull up the map. Let's see. You're on Argona. Mirage is... I know I'm in the vicinity. There it is, up here.
Oh, in the Imperium.
Yes, it
Oh.
is in Gazulan subsector. In fact, Newman is actually in the Imperium as well. It's up here.
Are we wanted by them yet? Do they know we're the pirates that they're looking for?
Oh, they fucking hate us. I'm
Well,
sure.
the Third
Well,
Imperium.
do they know we're the pirates we're looking?
There have been notices, keep an eye out for a Harrier class vessel, blah, blah, blah. But there hasn't been any arrest warrants issued. Basically, information regarding a Harrier class ship that may be involved in piracy has been out, but they are not actively looking for you.
Okay, good.
So we'll pick this up next week with you leaving Argona, and I guess you're setting course for Mirage. Is that the plan?
Looks like, huh?
Yeah. Provisionally, yeah.
Okay.
Is there any reason for us to stop? What was it, Corden? Or is that just the next one on our path?
That was probably the next one on her path
Yeah.
because of,
Okay.
So
So no
heading
reason
up.
for us to even go there then.
No, I mean whatever's the fastest, most direct route for you.
Right.
So, yeah. So
All
we
right.
will pick this up next week at 7:00 on Wednesday night.
Okay.
Well, thanks.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good night. Had a lot of
Awesome.
fun.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good night, guys.